Thank you for joining us for another episode of NCBA's Coffee Break series. I'm Nathan Willner, NCBA's Government Affairs Officer, and I'm really excited to welcome my guest today, KnovaOne CEO, Neeraj Mendiratta, to chat a little bit about data and cybersecurity. But before we go into some of the details of the robust security background that KnovaOne uses, maybe, Neeraj, you can tell our listeners a little bit about KnovaOne, a little bit about your background and how KnovaOne works and helps industry.
Sure. So I started in collections industry almost 20 years back with Capital One. I worked there for 10, 11 years, went to NCBA Financial Group, was managing their attorney network. After that, I went to a large mortgage servicers, and again, I was managing their attorney network. Somewhere in 2012, I started KnovaOne. And the idea of the KnovaOne was to help the attorneys, help the law firms and the other related businesses to improve their processes, improve their performance, allow them to look into their operations and build some kind of dashboard or executive reporting that they can see what's going on. And at the end, we realized that a lot of work they needed to excel was to take care of their mundane and repetitive and boring tasks. So with that, we founded KnovaOne and opened an office in India. We also provide them some IT support through our sister company called ArmGuard Solutions. So all KnovaOne does is anything a law firm in our industry needs in terms of processes, in terms of automation, in terms of getting things done, we provide them those services. The idea is to save them cost, improve their speed to production, and reduce turnaround time, and basically allow their critical staff to focus on revenue generating tasks without worrying about HR challenges.
Oh, interesting. So KnovaOne lets companies and law firms focus on what they do best and leave some of the administrative work to you and to your folks.
Exactly.
Wow. So with that, my understanding is KnovaOne goes in and helps these law firms but does have access to information, both their information, other clients' information, and KnovaOne's information. So what kind of security and data security and cybersecurity does KnovaOne use to protect their clients and your company?
So exactly. So with the type of work we do, we have access to some of the information that's sensitive, confidential, and even proprietary. So there are a few ways we work for the law firms. Sometimes we go in their systems and work in their systems. And some of the work that is in public domain, like court websites, dockets, we do outside of their system. But in either case, we gotta protect their data. We gotta protect the privacy of the consumers. We gotta protect the information and limit it in offices. So the way we look at this approach to data security or information security, it's four-pronged. We need to look at our network, the way our systems connect and talk to each other. The second is the processes. Have we built those processes to make sure the data is protected, whether it's in their system, our system, or while in motion? The physical space, the office environment where people come, log in and work. And the fourth component that is the critical of all is the people themselves. So we approach the data security or information security in these four different ways.
So if I understand, you segment the information of how you approach security to network, processes, physical space, and people, if I'm listening. And so network, that's what most people, I guess, think of when they think about computers, of how the information is shared and goes back and forth. So, we could probably talk for hours about each one of these subjects, but briefly, with so much changing in the field of cybersecurity, almost hourly, when you talk about network security, what are we talking about? What do you do?
Sure. So remember, the technology is evolving rapidly. We all remember phones, right? I remember buying my Motorola Razr. I don't remember the exact year, and that was the technology of the decade, the flip phone, the Razr phone. And we have come a long way. Now, phones have become essentially part of our life now. to a point where it's annoying for several people. So the technology evolves very fast, and it is evolving fast. I was reading an article that in the last 20 years, it has exponentially grown 100 times what it has grown in the last 1 century. So it's kind of very difficult to keep up. What we try to do is make sure what is the industry standards and norms on various things. Example, we have firewalls that act as both antivirus, anti-malware, anti-ransomware. They are in DMZ, which is an acronym demilitarized zone, where the servers should be kept separated from each other. So no two servers should be on the same network, to make sure that if one gets hacked, the other one does not. We have intrusion monitoring and intrusion detection, and actually prevention also. Then we have SEIM. They are kept in a physical space where not everybody can access. There's a limited access. Actually, in one of the audits, auditor asked me, hey, can you show me your server room? I put my thumb on the biometric. It didn't open. Actually, that passed me the audit, because they said it's good that only 1 or 2 people can access the server. That way it prevents the unauthorized access. Even though I own the company, they're like, yeah, it's good that you don't have access to it, Neeraj. Why should you even have access to it? So that's the thing. So having servers separated from each other behind firewalls that can act as detection and prevention. On top of that, they need to be, there are 2 parts to it. They need to be prevented from outside intrusion. So there's a traffic monitoring, but at the same time, we need a backup. So something happens to it, we should be able to go to the backup, put it in there, and get back onto working. Meanwhile, we are trying to clean up the issues if that happens. Then the part that's kind of risky in all this is the terminals, the laptops, the desktops. We want to make sure that they are also hardened. They are encrypted. We all know the term BitLocker. So which means that if you don't know the password, you can't even enter the laptop. So they're encrypted, both at rest. The data that migrates between the laptops or the servers are through VPN and remote desktop protocols. And in order to log in, our associates need not only have VPN, but multi-factor authentication. So they need to get some kind of text message or a password or a one-time password in another device. So that lets them enter into the laptop. So that's the sort of the network part of it. Make sure. Yeah,
no, it sounds, that's a full-time job in and of itself, is updating those programs and making sure that each one of those things not only are secure, but remain secure. So it's fascinating to hear how you approach all of that.
And it is kind of very critical, because the easiest way to steal data is to steal the laptop, right? People sometimes forget things. So those are the things that we have to harden very carefully, disable the USB media, make sure that there are strong passwords, make sure that the admin only has the admin access, user only has the user access. So yeah, definitely it's a full-time job. We have about 3 full-time and a couple of part-time guys just taking care of these things. That's their job, day to day and day out.
So in addition to the the physical computers, you have physical space, right? And you mentioned that there are multiple locations. So how do you do that? How do you balance the needs of the employees and the needs of security in the office?
So physical space, technically, so there are 2 pieces to it: the workplace and restricted area. So one of the things we have, the way our office is set up, even in order to get to the office, just to get to your workflow, you need 2 security checkpoints. So the building has a security checkpoint. There's a security guard, and they check badges. Those are magnetic badges, so they have to scan them, not just like fake paper ID. It's a magnetic scan that they have to scan it on a scanner, and the turn still turns for them to let them enter. If they don't, they say, okay, give me your ID. Who do you work for? Let me call they have a contact for each company, call those guys up saying, hey, Nathan is trying to enter. Is he your employee? Is he your guest? So that's one part. When they come to our office, there's another security guard, and they have to use their thumbprint to get into the office. And if the security guard does not recognize that person is not going in. We don't allow bags in. So bags have to be kept in we have a big cabinet area in the pantry, so they have to be kept in. But if I'm traveling and I'm carrying a laptop bag, even my bag gets checked. After a point, like the security guy says, oh, I know you, but I'm like, no, still need to get the bags checked. So that's the one part of physical space. Once they're in office, then we have security cameras, 24/7 CCTVs watching them work. And the server room, the electrical room, they have limited access. Only IT manager and the site director can access it. So it's not like I can just go in. But if we have an auditor on our site and they want to go in, the IT person would take them in, log them in. Now, within the server room, we have temperature control, humidity control, fire control. So anything that goes outside the parameters we have set for humidity and temperature, it starts to alarm. It sends out emails and it sends out text messages to people. It's 24/7. So we try to protect that way. So this is more from the destruction side rather than on the theft side to protect the data. And we have 24/7, as I said, we have CCTV cameras. I do like to watch our CCTV cameras sometimes in the middle of the night when nobody's working. But we have the people outside, that's their job to watch CCTV cameras to make sure nothing that we don't want to happen is happening over there.
It's a lot of work, and we've only gone through two of your main security points, and we've already come to the end of our first cup of coffee. This is what I would call a 2-cup of coffee subject. So Neeraj, could I invite you to come back for another cup of coffee with me, and we can go through the other two security and other facets of your company. It's fascinating. So thank you for joining us today, and I look forward to our second cup of coffee.
Thank you, Nathan. Look forward to come back.
Great. Thanks. Have a good day, everyone.